So today we are going into the museum, okay, and I hope you are going to enjoy every bit of it. It's going to be an experience of a lifetime in Accra, Ghana. As you can see, I'm going to swing the camera so you can enjoy the space of the museum. Can you see? All right, so a lot of things to look out for. A lot of things to look out for. So this is what you've been waiting for, right? Materials, like bauxite, some are made of mosaic, some are made of stones. And this is actually bauxite material itself. The raw material, you know, your baby boy or girl probably sick. Alright. So we have here mosques, and these are some of the mosques that have been built so many years ago. So this one in particular were built in the 17th century. And at this one, the Larabanga Mosque is the oldest mosque in Ghana. Due to the Islamic influence through the trans-Saharan trade, the Arabians contacted northern Africans through their trading, and also Islam as a religion was passed on to the western side of Africa. And due to the Islamic influence, they built most of these mosques here you find in present day. And they were built with bamboo sticks and clay materials. And this is the oldest mosque, standing mosque in Ghana. And it is one of the most visited sites in Ghana, and only the 100% Muslim city. So when you go to the land of Larabanga, they are only Muslims, 100%. No one else there is having any form of religion inside Islam. So this is called the Mecca of Africa. So when you go to areas like northern Ghana, Burkina Faso, Benin, Mali, Mauritania, you still find these similar architectural designs there. And this was due to the Islamic influence. And these mosques were not only built for religious purposes, but they were used as trading points. So as you journey with your communities, they were more or less like safe place where you can rest, sleep, continue your journey the following day. And also more or less a safe area to keep your languages. So these are one of the reasons why these mosques were built in modern and western Africa. So before prayer mat, these are some of the materials that were used as moss. The skin of a ram, that's a male sheep, right? So they skin the animal, they dry it up, and they pray on it. But they still contemporary one. Others still prefer to pray on the skin of a ram because they believe that it has more connection with their faith. So let's try to Alright, this we have here is the oldest fabric in Ghana called the back cloth. It is from a tree called Chenchenglia. The Latin name is Antiaris ossifari. So their means tree. So the Chen tree. So they spin the tree like that, and this is what they get, something similar like this. And they soak it into water for about a week. They take it out and beat it with this wooden mallet, like what my gentleman here is doing. And it stretches out, and this is the end product. So this, before modern day materials here used to sew our dresses, these were the materials or cloth that were used for sewing of dresses. Wow. So we can move on to this section here. So our forefathers have used so many materials to carry food. So these are some of the various materials we have here. So this was for carrying of bushmeat and also root tubers like cassava yam from the farm. And these were also used for storing of palm wine. I guess you know palm wine, right? Yes. And this was for storing of water, and this to carry firewood. So they put the firewood on it, they tie it up on all four edges, and they put it on the head. And then like this. It should come. Then
In Nigeria, we call it Oshuka.
Oshuka. Alright. So these are some of the various currencies that have been used in Ghana in the earliest form, of course. So these are maneles and these are bangles, being the earliest form of currency for trading, and they were mostly used in the trading of slaves. These ones were being abolished in the 20th century when the West African Currency Board was introduced by the British. Right, so it was a currency that was being used across all Western African countries that speak English, and also the Arabians as well. Because there were Arabic symbols on the West African Currency Board, cash, which were used by all Arabic countries. And this one was also another form of currency that was used. That's the cowrie shells. And cowrie shells in my tree language is pronounced or said cedi, and that is how the Ghana cedi got its name from. So it got its name from the cowrie shells and cedi. So we kind of move on to alright. So what we have here is called kudo.
Huh?
Kudo.
Kudwo.
Yes, they were used for storing of gold and gold dust, mostly by kings. And whoever was in possession of this, when they died, they buried the container, the gold and everything
With them.
with the dead.
Very well.
Sorry. The container with the gold and everything.
The king that with the goats to inside. So the next of kings will not have anything.
Back in the days, gold was very, very common.
It was common then. Okay.
Especially in Ghana, that's how you are called the Gold Coast.
So if you go now to dig all those people out, now there will be gold on
Yes, so
These
ones you see are all excavation, they are not fake. They are from excavation from various towns, various sites. And these small miniature glass boxes were also for storing of gold dust. And this forua were mostly used by the women to store their cosmetics, cooking oil, and shells. Anything oily went into that. So we move on to the other session. So these are gold weights, but they are not made of gold. They are made of brass. But they were used to measure the value of gold for a fair trade. So on one side of the scale, they put your gold or your gold dust there, and on the other side of the scale, they take any of these gold weights and they put it there. So whichever gold weight, for example, this will make your gold be at par or at equal, then your gold is worth this. And each and every gold weight here has its own significant value. So for the sake of equality and fairness in trade, these gold weights were established to meet that criteria. So please, let's kind of move on to the Alright. So this you see here are called the 1, 2, 3, 4 are called funerary rings, and they were used to bury kings when they were dead. They represent the head of servants, and there is the belief of the afterlife, that there is life after death. So when a king is dead, the servants who were serving him must still follow him to the afterlife. Continue their service as a servant. Yes,
You'll be buried alive.
They do it in Nigeria those days.
So back in the day, they buried servants alive with the king.
Sorry, king.
And this is not forced. Actually, it's not forced.
Say now.
It is more or less
Not
like
now
a
again.
voluntary thing.
The voluntary thing.
Yes.
Is it being voluntary or is being?
So, like I said, life after death. There is the belief that there is life after death. That is why when you go to most Muslim communities, they can put bomb on themselves and go blast. They believe that there is life after death. he has a better life ahead of him. That is the belief. So dying like that is no problem to him. So if I volunteer myself to be buried alive in a king, it was an honor for me and my family.
No.
That more
It's not the major.
what
Ghana, is it more
Christian dominated? 70-30. It's 70-29 and like 1% or 2%. Yes, traditional.
You confuse one. You're not traditional alone. You have atheists, you have other people that
They are all traditional. Every religion is traditional, but it's just the name that has been given to it. So Christianity is traditional, Islam traditional, but the name has just been changed to Islam.
But we have the main traditional.
Yes, that one. Yes.
So what about if the servant here he doesn't want to die?
Like I said, it is voluntary.
Okay.
It was like, and it's even an
They
honor.
enjoy the king like in Nigeria. Like in Nigeria, they enjoy like the king.
Yes, we
And
like
when the king is
servants.
dying, they don't die.
Servant had special treatment, right? So you dine with a king, and mostly to a king can marry, let's say, 20 wives.
Yeah.
And when he dies, about 10 of them would decide to volunteer themselves to be buried with the king, to continue to be the wife of the king. So they stopped burying people alive. And guess what they did? They chop off your head first. I think that's better than being buried alive.
Because you die with pain.
Yes. Because to suffocate in the head is
I
more.
no work for palace. No vex.
Can't
So
they
chop
just
off my head
poison the person
and
quiet?
bury me first.
No, hey, die. You still go.
But you are dead, Abi.
That means the person
Be living without the head.
Yes.
No, they said it's voluntary.
It's voluntary.
But the thing is that they've been
we're not forced.
That means you will be praying for long life for the king.
But the king must die one day now.
Okay, that's the
Even
thing.
though if the king,
Alright, so they stopped chopping heads and stopped burying people alive. They molded this funerary for them because inhuman act was being abolished. Right? And they started burying, molding these things. Whenever a king died, they'll bury one of them with the king. This is a Busian Krua, which translates as the family spot. Whenever a family member dies, family members of the deceased, they cut their fingernails and some part of their hair. And they put it, not the fingers, fingernails.
Abusua Karua.
And they put it inside the pot.
Why?
They bury it with the dead.
white.
The rationale is to cut every soul ties with the dead. So let the dead remain dead, let the living remain living. So sometimes they put money inside. But as you are crossing to your afterlife, you should purchase some 1 or 2 stuff. But don't come back in and give asking us for money. So we are done with you. Go in peace and not in pieces.
Then if 10 people die in their family, how many fingers would they cut?
Sometimes they will put a knife or sword by you. With the intention that maybe somebody kills you.
Okay, they do it too in Nigeria. They do it. Okay. Ló bá tán. Eléyìí tí ẹ dùn, ó dùn gan. Gbogbo story bí Nigeria náà ni.
So we have here what is called puberty right. The Ashanti people in Ghana call it Gabo, or there's a different ethnic group called the Kobos. We call it Diko. It is the same puberty right to initiate young virgin girls into womanhood. If you're not a young virgin girl, you will not be allowed to undergo this puberty right. Because you would have been banished from the community already when the man will have that sexual Is that? Alright, so
At least it's both of them this time. That will be punished.
yes. So these are the puberty right goals. The young girls are being dressed like this, so all the things you see around them are clean. So they smell them or they comb them in clay, adorn them in beautiful beads, and they cover their front and back like this. Probably like what you see in the picture.
But they leave their for you.
Yes, the reason why their chest is being exposed is to attract men.
How many men?
What does a girl chest go?
Adio.
They don't have breasts.
And everybody has their taste. That's why I like God. Exactly. So everyone has taste. Alright, so with this puberty right, the men who have traveled out of the community for greener pastures. For example, I assume I'm living in a village and I travel to urban areas to get money. For this special occasion, I'll come back home.
Wow.
Everybody there. So I will be picking. Please, don't still exist.
In Accident,
It still exists.
but not in the urban areas.
Not in urban areas, in the
Yes.
Marriage among the Dagaba people.
What about men too? Can we pick men?
Bravo.
Can we pick men?
why not?
Oh, why would they
So
pick
it's
men?
only fair.
I want to initiate that one.
So with this puberty, even if I'm a young guy, let's say in my 17, 18, and I'm not married, and the young girls who have done this puberty right have done, there is something called a siwa, which means it's more or less like a collateral. I'll have to present myself as a man, a young guy, and my family, to the family of the young girl who I'm interested in. And I'll tell the family that these are the things I'm giving you as a collateral, that I want to marry your daughter in about 5 or 6 years' time. On that note, I know that this is my wife. So the girl will be preserved for me for that period of time. So when I maybe attain some high status and I get my money and whatever that is needed for me as a man to get married, I'll come back and marry her. So the family, the parents or the family of the young girl will make sure that no other man will get close to her. But
What if another man get close to her?
that's what I'm saying, that is the responsibility, that is the purpose of a siwa.
They will
So,
follow her everywhere.
you understand?
So that means the girl will not join them to do all these ones now.
They are already done. They won't join
They are
again.
done.
They are done before the guy will come.
Very typical example. I'm seeing you ladies all year have undergone this puberty, right? You understand? But you are still young and not necessarily ready for marriage. Let's say 17 years, 18, you're not really fully mature. But you still undergone this puberty, right? That means you are still chaste. And as me as a young man, I'm also not really up there to be able to provide for the family and all this stuff. So, but I'm still interested in the lady. I'll still have to tell my parents that I'm interested in this lady. If she's not interested in me, maybe probably would have been already there for a period of time. I'm not having any sexual intercourse. So when she's undergone this puberty, right, I'll just follow her to her family and we perform the necessary rites. Then years later, then she becomes my wife.
Okay, that's fine.
Everything I was focused to make sure the young girls and young boys remain chaste until marriage. But unfortunately, the failing out of this puberty right from our societies has caused so much of teenage pregnancies and hormonal pregnancies and very high rates of divorce. Because with this puberty right, they undergo a rigorous training. After they being doing like this, they teach them how to cook, how to tidy up a home, how to take care of your family, how to even bake a child. To learn to bake a child very well, especially in shaping the head of the child. So the child has no good and the head will be looking like some box or maybe called a banana.
The men also go through training.
Yes. So women, the men undergo a training called, there's also a puberty right for the men. And they are being taught to be warriors, all right, and providers. So the young men who have gotten to their puberty age, they will be gathered and they will be sent to the forest. And they are to bring back home an animal depending on the tribe. It could be a leopard, a deer, an antelope, or a bear, some specific bird. If you are unable to bring back home that animal alive, then that means you are not. Yes, so weak. You are weak, exactly. You are not strong enough. You cannot provide for the family in times of need, in times of war. So no woman will be willing to marry you. That's the same way this also applies. When the young girls do not undergo this puberty right, no man will marry them.
Sorry, I want to ask you a question. So let's say after the petrolments, and maybe along the line, the lady fall in love with the other person. So is it possible?
So like I said,
Or the guy actually sees the other person?
if you know you are not interested in the guy, all right, don't accept. As long as you are interested,
You do.
as long as you are interested, you see, the thing is that it is modern world that has caused the problem of not trusting people in terms of relationship. Back in the days, as you are being born, you can be bestowed to someone.
Yes. Oh,
So when you grow, you get married to the person. But in our contemporary world, it's not like that. There is so much of betrayal, so much of lies. So if you say you love this person, the person can maybe at the end of the day go in for another one. But back in the day, it wasn't like that. As long as your parents have accepted that is what that you are this person's future husband, you dare not go about saying even a different man to even have that interest for
So
him.
the lady cannot declare that, okay, this guy is.
She has that ability, like I said, she has the ability to decline.
Okay.
You understand? So it's only when she's interested. If she's not interested, she can
I'm
say
not
no.
safe, so.
Is there?
I think
You will come out for your breast again.
the Zulu people are seeing this on.
So we have here a kitchen. This is a mortar and a pestle for pounding of food. A calabash for carrying or drinking water. A broom for sweeping. A pot for storing drinking water. They also burn palm kernel into this water, and it makes it have a very good flavor. Right? And also, these are domestic stools for sitting. And this is muchia in my language. In English, we could call it a stove. Anytime they cook, the smoke and the heat from the firewood preserve the fish and the meat and the vegetables they put there. So one way of preserving food in Ghana is mostly by smoking it. If you smoke it like your fish or your meat, it makes it more healthy for eating. It drains out all unsaturated fat from the meat. Like maybe you have your ham, your chicken or your beef. And those are ladles for their cooking, different shapes and sizes. Alright, so we're going to put here. Alright, so we have here traditional royal stools. And stools in Ghana are used to symbolize power and authority. So if you see the Jubilee House in Ghana, or the Flagstaff House, that is the presidential seat, the architectural design of the building looks like a stool. So what is that familiar thing you see about this stool here? Familiar thing. Is it not crocodile? Yes, crocodiles that are accepting themselves. So they are Siamese twins crocodiles sharing the same stomach. When you give these animals food to eat, they will fight over the food. But they do, yes. They have different heads, different legs. But they just conjoin. So they will fight over the food. But they do forget that they still go in the same stomach. This implies that regardless of the wars, the conflicts, or the misunderstandings we have in our society, let us not forget our shared goals and values that unite us as one people, one African people. So our sets of things, traditional royal states. Alright, so I'm turning the front to this direction. So this is the location of the Black people. As the land that we stand on now belongs to the Greater Accra people, the Ghanaians. An ethnic group that migrated from a town in Nigeria called Ife. So that is a piece of Nigerians in Ghana here. Alright, so on our far left is the Asakwacha, aka Asa. He is the warlord, in charge of devising military strategies in times of war and also protecting the people, and most especially the king. That is our king, the Ghanaian. He's in charge of all lands that belong to the Greater Accra people. And this is the Wulong. He's the spiritual leader or the chief priest. He's always in fight and God-fearing, giving birth to this in connection with Mother God. And on our far right is our queen mother. They see them wear a herb around their neck, right? It is called Namira in the Ghana language, but in my tree language it is Nina. These herbs are used for spiritual protection. And that is the same herb that I mostly put in the wall dress you see there. So you see the wall dress, the stem materials are leather. So they put spiritual herbs inside the material and they leave it. Sometimes in the Muslim community, they do not put herbs, but they put Quranic scriptures. So they write Quranic quotes or scriptures from the Quran on a piece of paper, wrap it up and put it inside. And they weave it. And these are meant to withstand bullets, arrows, and spears. So the Ghana people, they use a matrilineal system of inheritance, that is paternal to the father side. So there are three specific clans where they choose their kings from. So it is rotational. But with the other tribes like Ashantis or the Fantis, they do not use matrilineal. They use matrilineal system of inheritance. That is inheritance going to the mother side. So this is what I mean. So let's assume our gentleman is a king. And this is your wife, right? And you have a sister. This is your sister. And you have a son with your wife, that is the gentleman here. And our sister too has a son, me. Alright? Sorry to say, when the king passes away, your son, who gentleman here, does not ascend the throne. But what if he played away somewhere? You get it? So what if one were to play away somewhere? And that means our gentleman may be the biological son of the king. That means you are not his bloodline. You get it? So if this gentleman ascends the throne, he cuts the bloodline to the king. That is he. Because you married your wife from a different family. It does not belong to the royal blood. But to ensure that whoever ascends the throne is indeed the bloodline to the king, then you know that you share the same blood with your sister. Your sister has a son, me. You share the same blood. Automatically, uncle and nephew share the same blood. So I will ascend the throne. Sure.
They believe that it's the woman that really knows who really owns the child.
Yes.
But the men cannot.
It's not really a belief. A woman knows who is the father of the son. Yes. It's not actually a belief. It is what it is.
So that's the reason why a father cannot bring the bastard.
A father can bring a bastard. If the woman comes to meet you, she's pregnant. You accept.
We have here a northern king, right?
So before you continue, so you said that man, that could over there.
Itself, the Ghana Bandits, they migrated from Nigeria.
Iga.
G-A, Ghana.
Ga.
Yes.
So they are actually
There's a warrior in Nigeria. The Ga is a warrior.
So he's not your king in
no, not
They are like there's an ethnic group.
okay.
Have you seen Basaruga like in
there are five
No.
main ethnic groups.
Are you serious?
So guys, part of
Are you
The
serious?
Akans, the Moli Dagbanis, no, the Ashantis are part of the Akans. So the Moli Dagbanis, the Wans, and the last one, the Ewes. That is five main ethnic groups. Out of these five main ethnic groups, you can get different people, like the Ga people themselves. It is Ga Adango, but the Gas are inside the Ga Adango people. And we have the Ashantis from the Akans. And we have the Anlo people who are Ewes. So different group of people, alright? So in Oyo, is this really gold? Yes. Yeah, everything you see there is gold. That's why I say that in Ghana we have abundance of gold. I guess you are chopping the money.
politicians,
You know already. So, when you have like this, yes, I love it. You mine gold like how Nigerians mine oil. So, nobody goes to buy now, you have gold. You have things like gold, where you can buy chains, gold. Yes, I love it in Ghana. Just that it is just meant for, you know, the rich. Like, actually, I think this is the money here. The material he's wearing is called Subu. And these materials are not screen printing. Neither are they embroidered, but they are hand woven by a simple machine, the loom. So we have kente, fugu, kete. These are all fabrics in Ghana that are not screen printing or embroidery, but they are hand woven. So every single hand. So you see the pins, the material they are wearing, all kente, they are hand woven. So you can see how much effort they put in the production of these fabrics. And so the hat is wearing, every position of the hat is so much important. As is pointed upward, is used to communicate that he is a sole power and authority in the community. When he leads the community to a different community, he has to respectfully put down his hat to the left or to the right. To the left is a noble or a peaceful man. To the right is a courageous or a brave man. Whenever you see someone from northern Ghana who has the hat lying behind, it means that he's a wood king, meaning he will be sworn in as a king soon. And to the front is used to declare war. Right? So these are some of the meanings of, so you can't just wear hat anyhow, especially when you're going to northern Ghana.
Like his own, he has position.
So he's a noble person.
Hey.
So upwards is power and authority. So he's a power in Nigeria. So with this, I want to mean. Okay, so you enter the cave here. So this is where we enter our cave. But let's enter the hunter-gatherers. When I say hunter-gatherers, we were a group of people, like a family, like this, who were moving in groups in search for food, for survival. So some of the places that they lived in were open air encampments, banks of rivers, sometimes trees, and caves as well. So these are some of the caves our forefathers lived in before modern day technology and stuff. So you can see on the walls of the cave inscriptions made with stones. Alright? So we have these inscriptions which were made with stones, and they were used to communicate to people. So we can see clearly like an animal attacking a man, right? This one, do you see it? Yes. So it was used to communicate to other hunter-gatherers who might come to the same cave that this is what went on or transpired. So probably if you want wahala, you can stay away from the wahala. When you were able to kill animals, they used the blood of the animals to make these inscriptions on the other side of the wall. So these were made with blood to communicate. So you can see with different things that they are trying to talk about. And this you see here is a silo. You know what a silo is, right? A silo is a place where we store food. Yes. So this one was used to store mostly cereals and grains. So they pour their cereals and grains inside. This is a very soft spot, so they can easily crash and fetch the food anytime they need it. So always the older ones are poured at the top, and the older ones are fed from the bottom, while the new ones are on top. So when they are done fetching it, they cover it again. And because it is made of clay, it keeps the food very cold. And also, this looks like an ant hill. You know an ant hill, right? Yes. So it gives animals the perception that it's an ant hill. And no animal will dare to get close to an ant hill. Alright? So that's how they are able to protect their food from animal attack and preserve it as well. Called Anansi. And we have Anansi, that is tales of Tarantula. Personally, I mostly stand in the middle. But that's it, I stand in the middle. So, these stories of the one of they are like tales, they are like parables. And these parables are embedded in them. So, the reason why we realize that most African people or African nations have high morality as compared to people who are outside Africa is due to some of the stories that the moral lessons that we learn from these stories. It is not directly for fun, but indirectly teach us a moral way, the way we can shape our life to be morally upright. So in the case of these stories, so that we can indirectly teach us some lessons, so we grow to know truth from falsehood, good and evil, even to be able to solve real life problems. Also, the reason why the word is here can see the web connecting every angle here and joins here at the center directly under the black star. And this black star means unity in the African people. This implies that regardless of the wars, the misunderstandings, or we are different people, different tribes, different languages, with all these diversities, we should still come together as one people. Let's share the same ideology and goal to foster nation building. Just like how Dr. Kwame Nkrumah advocated for the total liberation of the African continent when he was fighting for Ghana's independence. So he said that the independence of Ghana will be used until it is made with the total liberation of the African continent. So this will bring us to a place of our talk. The theme of the Ghana National Museum is unity and diversity.
Unity in diversity. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We had so much fun. All right, bye. All right, so this is my experience at the Ghana Museum. It's been an amazing time knowing Ghana history and learning one or two. Come on, if you're a Ghanaian and you're in diaspora, you're in Nigeria, you're somewhere in the world, I mean, I think this video has rooted you home. This is good. This is very, very enticing to know all of this. And then if you're also in Nigeria and you know about this, you've been living in Ghana, let's hear your comments at the comment section. See you and have a blessed day. Remember to like, remember to share, remember to comment. Remember, we have a lot of videos via playlist. Take time out to watch and see you there. Have a blessed day. Bye.